So sometimes I strike out, and sometimes I hit gold. But this thing right here, this might just be a diamond. Welcome back to the Build Up Challenge, everybody, the series where we find and flip computers just like this one so that we can build up our bankroll large enough so that I can build a truly epic gaming system that I'm going to give away to one of you lovely people. Now, it is not every day that I come across deals on Facebook Marketplace where the system is fully functional and has decent hardware in them. And when you do come across those listings, a lot of times I feel like they're too good to be true. And that is kind of how I felt about this computer right here. This thing has a B450A Pro Max motherboard and a 3400G processor. It has 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RAM. It's rocking a EVGA 600 watt power supply, a 512 gig SSD, and it's in a pretty decent looking case. And would you like to know how much this computer right here was being sold for? Come here, come closer, get in here. $140. $140, that's it. Now, I think that that is a spectacular price for a computer that can already play games. The 3400G processor in here utilizes Vega 11 integrated graphics in order to produce an image, and it can play games like Valorant, CSGO, Fortnite, Forza 5. It's obviously not going to boost those up to ultra settings with crazy high FPS, but you can still play games on this computer already. And while this might be good for some people, around here, that's just not gonna cut it. I mean, have you seen the other builds on this channel? Now, we are going to be giving this thing a good performance boost, but we are also going to give it a facelift, because if you take a look at this computer, it's not really giving gaming PC vibes, and we need to change that. And to start that whole process, we are going to be using a whole bunch of these fans right here. Now, these are Thermalright fans, and I was put onto these by the lead moderator of my Discord server, Bounty Hunter. He told me about them, and I loved the look of them, but I really loved the price. But that reminds me, if you have not joined the PC Rehab Discord server, you are gonna wanna make sure that you go ahead and do that. We've been working really hard to sell all these computers so that we can build an epic gaming computer, and the winner for that system is going to be picked from my Discord server. So if you would like to join, I'd love to have you as part of my community. The link is in the description down below. Plus, I am in there. So don't you wanna hang out with me? So moving right along, I did decide to put my hatred for the company Deepcool to the side for just a little bit and picked up this AK400 digital CPU cooler. Now, the 3400G processor in here, it's not really gonna be putting off a ton of heat, and that's why I decided to go with the slimmer heatsink here. But what I'm really interested in is the digital display that is inside of this CPU cooler. I think that it will provide a decent look for the finished result. And for the performance boost that we will be putting inside of the system, we are going to be using this Asus Aorus 2060 graphics card. Because this computer can play some games, we want it to play all the games, and Vega 11 integrated graphics, that's just not gonna get us there. Now, we will be tallying the total cost to build this system right here, as well as determine how much we're gonna try and sell this for to see how much money we're gonna make from it. But before we can do that, we do need to put this thing together. So without further ado, let's put some music on and let's clean and throw this thing together. goodness. What do you guys think? Yay or nay on the black gloves? These were accidentally purchased from Home Depot. I gave the package of them to my son to play with to keep him occupied, and then I forgot to take them out of the cart, so we accidentally purchased them. But I figured I'd try wearing them. You let me know what you think. Now we know that this system works already, so what we're gonna be doing right now is we're gonna turn on the system for the first time, just so that we can see if all the fans were wired correctly, all the RGB was wired correctly, and that the GPU that we put inside of the system will give us an image. So without further ado, let's go ahead and push this button to see if I did my job correctly. All right, so that is a lot of RGB fans. Okay. All right, GPU fan spinning, CPU seems to be looking good. Image, let's see about an image. And boom, image. All right, so everything seems to be working properly. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna jump inside of this system. We're gonna test a few games to make sure that the system is working properly and see how well it performs. Afterwards, we will come up with a price on how much we're gonna try and sell this thing for. So without the availability of my capture card, I did not want to overwork this processor by screen recording because I wanted to get a good representation of what this PC was capable of, and the results were pretty good. In Forza 5 with integrated graphics, we were only getting 29 FPS, and now with the addition of this 2060, we are seeing an average of 83 FPS at high settings. When we jump into a more demanding game like God of War set to high settings, we're getting an average of 71 FPS, and in Call of Duty, we were getting a pretty decent 94 average FPS, again, with settings set to high. Now while the gameplay on this computer right here didn't blow me away, it is still a very nice system, and the beauty of it is with that B450A motherboard, you could easily swap in a Ryzen 5 5500 and get leaps and bounds better performance and for a very minimal price. But while I could change out this CPU, I'm not going to, because we are going to sell this computer, so changing out the CPU is at the sole discretion of whoever decides to buy this thing from me. And right now, we are going to need to figure out how much we're gonna sell this computer for. So let's go over the upgrades that we put inside the system. For the CPU cooler and all the fans that are inside the system, I paid $103, which is really, really good because there is a lot of fans that I purchased for this computer. And for the graphics card, I found that used on Facebook Marketplace for $140, the exact same price that I paid for the entire system to begin with. So that brings the grand total for this computer to $383, which is a phenomenal price for this system. And we're gonna list this on Facebook Marketplace for $560. Now, if you have been following the series for a while, you are probably curious as to where we sit with funds. Now, before this computer right here, we were sitting at $883 in total bank, with one computer to sell for $700. Now, because of this computer, our bank value dropped down to $500, but now we have two computers to sell, and if they sell for the asking price that I'm asking for them, we'll have well over $1,800 to spend on the computer that we are going to be giving away to one of you guys. Now, I did want to take a second to say thank you. Thank you so much. The channel just went over 10,000 subscribers, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me, and I couldn't be more grateful for the support of me just tinkering around and making old computers look pretty again. But thank you guys so much for watching my silly videos, and be sure to be on the lookout for next week's video because the computer we're flipping is probably the best deal that anyone's ever found on the internet. And just like always, no matter where you are in the world, I hope that you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.